Hey guys, welcome. Another episode of Divorce Matters Today. I'm your host, Renola Aiken, and there's just an interesting stat that just came out that last year, 992 women filed for divorce. Let's get into it.
2,000 women filed for divorce in 2024. The stats have been updated. Typically, it's about a year and a half to 2 year log of back data. So everything that happened in 2023, we have complete stats. But we don't have all the complete stats of 2024. But it just updated from 650,000 to 992,000 now that we are about halfway through the year. 992,000 women. I want you guys to understand this. Don't get your lives wrapped up in this. Now, the stats have updated for men also. 330,000 men filed for divorce in 2024. I don't know if this is going to climb even higher, but the stats are just insane. However, women filed for divorce 3 times the amount that men did. So that's crazy. I want you men out here to enjoy your lives. As I've told you, men, if you're in a marriage, if I were you, I would be filing for divorce right now. Don't wait on her to file so you can end up losing all your money like a lot of these men have. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, how much money did men lose in 2024 when it comes to divorce, such as with alimony, 50% of their income, homes, etc.? And that was when the stats were 650,000. ChatGPT said that men lost around $30 billion in 2024 if
Billion?
650,000 women filed for divorce. Now the stats have updated to 992,000. You men need to wake up and
Wait. The men lost 30 billion last year, and that was just off of 650,000 divorces? So that means they lost 45 billion off the 992,000 women. 45 billion last year? Men lost to women? I don't know why this is hitting me differently because, we've heard that, women divorce men at an 80% clip. But it wasn't until now that I've actually seen the actual number of women actually filing. Basically, a million women filed for divorce and 330 men filed for divorce. So that's about what? Yeah, that's in line. Actually, 992 and 330. That's 25% to 75%, 3 to 1. He's right. Let's keep going.
realize something. Enjoy your life. Stop chasing love. You live in a society that has no love. You live in a society of women that listen to celebrities, focus on reality TV stars, and they want to live the life that they live. So that's why they are all chaotic and dramatic the way that they are today. So if you live in a time where women enjoy chaos, what makes you think that a marriage will work? You signing a piece of paper is only going to have you ending up in divorce court. I just saw a video of a girl who was talking about the rapper Slim Thug. And she's talking about some mess between Slim Thug and Megan Thee Stallion right now, whatever. But she was talking about how Slim Thug, is sad because he's old now and he should be married by now and he's not married. You see, this is all black women can ever talk about. They always want to poke at a man that's not married as if they are marriage material. None of these women are marriage material. Slim Thug is a multi-million-dollar rapper who has a successful career, his own home, which I believe is paid for, multiple luxury cars. He travels the world. His sons appear to be fine. And this woman is talking down on him, saying that, his life is nothing because he's not married. I wouldn't marry none of you scallywags. Slim Thug is an intelligent man to understand that if you was to ever marry one of you, you would try to take his money and his career. You would try to milk him for everything you could get from him. Why would an intelligent, successful man be so stupid? So, with that being said, stop getting sucked into this thing on the internet that's making you, oh, if you're not married, then you're not successful. You haven't accomplished what you're supposed to accomplish. They say things like, oh, so what, are you just going to be boyfriend and girlfriend forever? Yes. Or if you don't want to be boyfriend and girlfriend forever, you as a man should be focusing on becoming very successful, and you can live the life of happiness that you want with women. See, if you stop trying to fall in love with women, which is one of the worst things you could ever do in this time, enjoy women. When you making millions of dollars, it's nothing for you to take women out on expensive dates because you enjoy that because you have so much money and the money keeps coming that is nothing for you. So if you change up and you rewire your brain, stop looking for love. Stop looking to settle down with a woman and enjoy life with women. Travel with women. Enjoy going out with women, having fun with women. Don't take it to a level where you can get your heart broken or you can get your finances broken because you chose to settle down and marry a woman. It's one of the worst things you can ever do. So take my advice. Stop allowing these women to convince you to be involved in this hustle. None of these women today are marriage material. They're not. And even if they appear to be, I don't care what comes out of their mouth, what end up happening is they'll end up divorcing you. So why would you set yourself up for failure? Because you
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. This I don't know why this video I don't know why this video hit me, but I guess seeing the raw numbers made it crystal clear for me. There were 1,300 marriages, sorry, 1.3 million marriages in the United States that happened some time ago, whether it's last year and before. And out of those 1.3 million marriages, 1 million of them were ended by women in the United States. Let that sink in for a second. Ladies, I don't care what you say. You cannot justify this. You cannot justify this. In fact, what is that stat? That's an interesting stat. Hold on, one second. Future outlook. By 2050, demographers project that nearly one third of women may remain unmarried by 45, meaning roughly one out of three will never marry. So one out of three, they're not even. This is not even them. Okay, so that means 2 out of 3 marriages, right? 75% of them will be ended by women. Do you guys understand what I just said? One third of the human race of women will never marry. And of the remaining two thirds, 75% of them will divorce. What that basically means is this: about 85% of either dissolution of marriage or the lack of a nuclear family. Notice what I'm saying: lack of a nuclear family, meaning they did not say that these one out of three women will not get pregnant. So, in other words, 85% of the fuckery is promulgated by women. But let's just stick to these numbers that we can actually verify. I mean, I think I verified it, with the numbers with my rough calculations and estimates. But let's just, with what you guys see on the screen, 75% of women file for divorce in the United States in 2024. Basically, a million women. I have a question. I have a very serious question. Very serious question. And but not before I get to my question. 45 billion was transferred from the men to the women. 45 billion as a result of divorce. 45 billion dollars just last year. Ladies, here's my question. Are you under the assumption that men are happy in marriages and that's why we don't file? That you're doing everything right and that's why men don't file? You are sadly mistaken. That was a rhetorical question, by the way. You are sadly mistaken. The reason men don't file is because they know they're going to be on the hook. They're not going to see their children. And men, for the most part, are ride or die. Once we put that ring on your finger, we take our vows very seriously because our marriage and our family has become our identity, our legacy, our respect. Without respect, a man is nothing. But the main question I have is I keep going back to this. We can debate this thing for the next 10 years, 20 years. One thing that we can now conclude is this: it's not changing. I think that's fair to conclude. This ain't changing. In fact, it's only going to get worse. Now, this is the main question. As a Christian, what are men supposed to do? Oh, and you know another thing that the stat doesn't quite show? How many people that have not divorced have happy marriages? Not many. They're just bad in time. They're just miserable. So, as a Christian man, my question is, what is a Christian man supposed to do in this world? He can't sleep around and he can't marry because marriage eventually will lead to divorce. Make no mistake, it will lead to divorce, church or not. Believe me, both my marriages, I got married to quote unquote Christians. They divorced me. Happened to Kevin Samuels too. Happened to Jeff Bezos too. Happened to The Rock. Happened to Idris Elba. Happened to Jason Momoa. Happened to Tom Brady. Ain't nothing special. If it can happen to them, it happened to God. So, ladies, I really want you to write in the comments because you can say what you want to say, ladies. You can say whatever you want to say. Fine. I'll grant you 50% of the men are just Old Testament disgusting. I'll grant you that. Cool. But here's the problem with that. That still means that women, even if I granted you the fact that 50% of the men are just Old Testament evil, they deserved it. Obviously, that's a lie, but fine, I'll grant you that. So let's say 900 out of the 900, let's call it a million. Out of the 1 million, 50% absolutely deserved. No problem. Got you. So that's 500,000. Justified. Cool. No problem. Now, as far as the men are concerned, let's say, fine, I'll even grant you, say, just say 20%. 20% of the 300,000, right? So now we're down to 240,000 versus 500,000. Ladies, that still means even if I gave you the most evil men and they deserve to be left, that still means that over two Okay, that still means that women are divorcing men at more than double the rate that a man divorces a woman. How do you justify that? I didn't even say 50% of the women were evil. I even gave you even more room. I said 20% of the women are evil. And I increased it to 50% of the men were evil. So that's 500,000 versus 240,000. That is still over double. Ladies, how do you justify this? Because I know some of you women are going to say that it's the man's fault. Okay, let's go with that. Lesbian marriages. I think there's a statistic that they say there's what a 90% divorce rate or something like that with lesbians. So if men were the problem, you decide to go marry a woman and you divorce them even more. So ladies, I have a question for you. With those numbers, you divorce the men at a 75% rate and you divorce women at 90% rate, right? Who really is a problem? Who really is a problem? And again, nobody can answer what a Christian man is supposed to do to my satisfaction. Because as much as this YouTubers talk on YouTube about, especially the conservatives, like men need to be married, men need to be providers, men need to fight for their family, this and that. Listen, when a woman is done with you, keep trying to fight for that marriage. It's called a restraining order, and that's a strike on your record. I have never seen one time a Christian woman in a divorce courthouse. I've never seen it. When that woman is ready to divorce you, you will quickly come to the understanding that she is just a woman. I have never seen God in a divorce courthouse, not once. So even though you made vows, yes, you made vows to God, that still means nothing to these women. I watch YouTube because now this is one of my side businesses that I'm trying to grow. All right, and I enjoy doing this. I watch a lot of content, for information, and I have to admit, like Just Pearly Things, the white girl that y'all should know who it is, Just Pearly Things. Guys, when I had my second divorce, oh, I was depressed a little bit. One because I was missing her fucking ass. It wasn't about that. It was the fact that in my mind I was like, I failed again. and I was super blue pill. When I mean super blue pill. Oh, I ate this. I drank the sauce. Be a provider, be a protector, pay all the bills, this and that. That was it. And I struggled with some depression for about, dude, first 6 months was tough, man. I ain't gonna lie, it was tough. First 6 months, yeah, it was tough. But it was just Pearly Things and her show that made me realize, oh, I'm not alone. This truly is a pandemic. Like this is typical. You're not alone. And obviously, I had a dream. Jesus Christ came to me and told me to, yo, let her go. That was when I let her go. That was the first thing. Just Pearly Thing just humanized it. Actually, Jesus didn't say just let her go. He said leave her. I mean, it was plain as hell. It wasn't no offense. He said leave her, and walked out like a boss. I woke up. That was it. Never contacted her again. I was done. But what Just Pearly Things did for me was she shared the stories, the interviews, because I had never even heard of what something called blue pill, I mean red pill before. Blue pill, red pill, whatever, black, whatever. I had no idea. I had never seen one video of red pill, blue, not one. I had no idea that such a thing existed. No idea. Listen, when I tell you I had never watched one video of red pill, blue pill, never. I didn't even know such a thing existed. Wasn't until my second divorce happened that I said, you know what, do some research on this. And then YouTube, just started watching videos, started going down the rabbit hole. Here I am today. What is a Christian man supposed to do? Nobody can answer that question for me. Meaning, what is a Christian man supposed to do and still be in the right standing with God? Somebody, please tell me. Because data and statistics show that being married to a woman in the United States is suicide. It's clear. This shit doesn't work. Let's United States, UK, Canada, the West, even the East and China. The shit doesn't work. So what's a Christian man supposed to do? Marriage as a construct doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yet God wants us not to fornicate, but to marry. But if we marry, and if we have children, we're fucked. Because now that woman has leverage for life. Unless, before you marry, you put everything, you sign all your assets to a trust, marry in a 50-50 state, and you have an ironclad prenup. Because it's not a matter of whether you're going to divorce or not. It's a matter of if she does decide to pull that trigger, how much is she going to get from you? So, my answer is simple. Men want to get married. It's either you follow the steps I just outlined, or two, you need to move away from the West and find your wife in a different country. Remember, I said, what can a man do to be in right standing with God? Now, if you don't want to be in right standing with God, then just keep having sex and just don't get married. But there's a catch to that as well, isn't there? Isn't there? If you're a man of means, Shannon Sharp has proven that even that doesn't keep you safe. So you may say, "Well, I'm not a Christian, so I'm just gonna fuck all these bitches." That's fine. But all it takes is one to accuse you of SA. That's all it takes is one. And she could be so vindictive that she says, "Screw it, I don't even want the money. I just want to see you suffer, and I'm going to take you to criminal court." She just about the money. Guess what? That money that you were looking to save, as far as your prenup is concerned, you're going to spend it on lawyer fees and ultimately a settlement. And Shannon Sharp has proven that. Ladies, I really need you to comment on this. And fellas, like this video, hit the share, please. Because at this point, I don't know what a man can do. I really don't know what a man can do. I really don't. At the very least, fellas, make sure you sign a prenup. Forget the big wedding. Spend the money on a good prenup. Forget the wedding. It's about the prenup. Because I will tell you that prenups actually prevent divorce. Because she knows the incentive is gone. It is lack of prenup that actually enforces divorce. It quickens divorce. This, my friend, is a crazy world that we're living in. To think my son is going to have to live in this world, I got a lot to teach him, man. I got a lot to teach him. And all you guys have a lot to teach your sons. All you guys have a lot to teach your sons. Because this world that we live in right now, it ain't going to get no better. Why? As long as women work, control the purses, as far as merchandise, as far as paying for stupid stuff, education, tithes, products that they don't need, laws ain't changing. This is why they give the women the money after the divorce because the corporations know Money's just gonna come back to them. Sad but true. Guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share if this was informative and educational. Right? We talk about divorce matters. Why? Because divorce actually matters today. Talk to you guys soon.